Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. Patch 9.1 introduced a lot of PvP changes to a variety of different classes, and in this video I want to take a look at which classes are actually gaining the most value from them. A variety of different updates have been added in patch 9.1 with the new PvP talents, as well as adjustments to certain damaging abilities, as well as certain reworks for how defensives, offensives, or other utilities may work for a variety of different classes that we play. And so far in patch 9.1, we've actually been able to collect quite a lot of data to see if players are even utilizing these accessories, if certain classes are performing better in PvP, if players are actually seeing their classes improved. Are we seeing certain specs actually coming out of their shell, or is it still the same old meta of the last season? So let's take a look at some of the classes that are actually performing pretty well in PvP, and if players are actually taking advantage of some of the PvP updates. First class on the list is going to be Priest. Majority as a Shadow Priest, but Disc and Holy are utilizing certain new things, if there are even any. Majority of the changes came with the Shadow Priest Honor PvP changes. Primarily two PvP talents that you might not even think two PvP talents, that's not really going to change much, let's be honest. But in fact, it actually does a huge deal for making these specs a little stronger. For example, the Void Eruption Horror Blast that come out for Shadow Priest make him super deadly, even though a little bit of RNG of an ability, if it does slam down on enemies, especially great for groups, it makes Shadow Priest a formidable foe against multiple enemies, putting them in control while also dishing out amazing burst damage. You also get even more ways to control when you want to burst, how you want to burst, and how strong that burst is going to be with the new PvP talent Megalomania, giving Shadow Priest the opportunity to play Surrender to Madness in PvP, and quite a lot of priests started playing that as of recently. With a very bursty meta, Shadow Priest need to turn up the heat a little bit quicker than before, and with a crazy toolkit of crowd control on top of it, I feel like they fit in just fine in Season 2. Next class that didn't get too many updates but is doing fantastic is the Warrior. Particularly as a Fury Warrior, you're seeing them bringing in a utility they never had before, which is Mortal Strike Effect, a way to reduce the amount of healing an enemy has. Combined with some of the stronger legendaries that Fury Warriors have been able to play with the Mythic Pluses, being able to take him into arenas like 2v2s and 3v3s, has been fantastic for the spec in general. Outside of that, both Arms and Fury gain the ability to do damage and root your target, and root the targets behind them, and do damage behind the target whenever you charge, which is a pretty deadly combo that just allows warriors to still be super effective when it comes to setting up damage and really making a big go out of things. Safe to say the warriors are doing also pretty well in Season 2. Next class on this list is going to be Shaman. Shaman's got quite a few new skills to play around with, and the one spec that gets to use the most of them, I would say, would be your Restoration Shaman. Living Tide, the PvP talent, has made him super strong, as their totems prior to this never really been that amazing, mostly in raid situations, but never really in PvP. And this talent is literally kind of keeping rest of Shamans up there in the healing department. But also Unleash Shield, while it is available for both Elemental and Enhancement, for Restoration, that's where you get the most value, being able to use Earth Shield, your Lightning Shield, or even Water Shield to get 3 separate different effects that could impact an arena in a variety of different ways. So for Shamans in general, particularly for Esto, this patch has been actually pretty good in terms of some of the new changes, and given them quite a few talents that are regularly played in arenas. Another class that saw improvement has been the Warlock, particularly Destro, as well as Demonology. Not to say that Affliction doesn't get any play, but Destruction with Bonds of Fel has become a staple to their playstyle, plus the changes to Chaos Bolt to make the spec more consistent. Destruction right now is just raining Felfire on everyone and anyone they see. They actually are doing really well, and if you haven't played your Destruction Warlock in a while, that will probably be a really good time. Same thing goes for Demonology Warlocks. These guys also have been doing fantastic. The new Obelisk talent is setting itself right into every single PvP talent slot for just about every single Demonology Warlock, and is allowing those pets, the AI that you summon, while they are not always reliable, whenever you have the Obelisk down, and if they can find their target and line up their abilities together, it becomes extra deadly for that one singular enemy, allowing Demonology a very solid opportunity to actually compete when it comes to PvP. We also have Havoc Demon Hunters. These guys in particular saw quite a few updates. First of all, I'm a huge fan of the PvP talent Isolated Prey. I think it's fantastic at locking down singular targets and makes demon hunters even deadlier. Combined together with the hunt ability from the Night Fae, they are shredding it right now in PvP. Chaotic Imprint is also a very interesting one. It allows your chaos abilities to do slightly more damage, but playing together with casters also allows you quite a bit of extra output if you get lucky with the imprint debuff. But if you get the right one, together with a priest, together with a mage, it can be a very deadly combo. On top of it, finally demon hunters are feeling kind of tanky in PvP. Finally Blizzard was able to solve the issues. The blur wasn't properly working, and now demon hunters are actually surviving. Still, a very squishy class when locked down in a stun, but outside of that, if you are able to pre-blur certain burst combos, you actually can survive for more than half a second, which is about all the demon hunters had in the previous patch. Another class that's doing pretty well with some of the changes is Death Knight. While Frost Mages did see some of their PvP talents kind of pruned a bit, the talents to replace them actually have been pretty good for both specs of DK. Spell Warden is amazing against casters. Silence, Blanket Silence in a minute, is also really good against casters and healers. And I mean, Death Knight basically became kind of like an anti-caster gameplay class. But also we're seeing Unholy Death Knight healing reduction effect coming into play. Unholy prior to this has been a little bit of a weaker spec, with Frost mostly dominating. With some of the nerfs to Frost and some small buffs to Unholy, it looks like Unholy slowly crawling its way back towards the top, but is definitely a much better feeling spec to play at the moment. Druids also are seeing quite a bit of a buff, as Feral as well as Boomy. Boomy's didn't really change too much, but the new Starburst talent is actually often played. It can give your team a knock-up, which is an interesting thing to bring in. Normally a knockups is just not a common ability that you would bring into PvP for crowd control, but with Boomies constantly running it, it actually gives you opportunity to lock down enemies or even knock up a cast if used properly, a perfect defensive to peel for your healer. And for Ferals, you have a variety of different changes to play better with casters, not just range DPS, but also Mortal Strike effect from your bleeds, which are pretty easy to line up. Has definitely allowed Feral Druids, especially with all that Night Fae burst they got going on, a little bit extra deadliness within PvP. Mages also are seeing a little bit extra loving in this seasonal patch. Frost Mages have gotten a bit of extra value on their damage. While we're not seeing a huge uptick of Frost Mages, they are a little bit stronger. Arcane Mages in particular saw a lot of their defensive toolkits being the only for them, so that makes them a little bit stronger when it comes to defense, but also Arcanosphere, the damages that carry an Arcane Mage in particular, the burst that they could provide has been actually insane, which actually allows some Arcane Mages to continue playing in 2s and 3s and actually compete pretty well. And while it's really good to see Frost doing a little bit better, Arcane doing substantially better, Fire did not fizzle out by any measure. It is still a very, very popular spec of Mage on PvP right now. Blizzard did give a bit of a beating by nerfing some of the utility and defensive usage for Fire Mages, but they simply just switched gears and just went full-blown damage with the new PvP talent of Ring of Fire slotting into just about every single Mage's PvP talent slot. A lot of mages are just focusing on as much damage as they can, and it doesn't look like Fire Mage is stopping, being one of the more popular mage choices for PvP so far. Last class on this list is going to be Rogue. With some of the nerfs that Subtlety took, it's still seeing a lot of play, and it's still very, very popular, particularly with the talent of Tricks of the Trade, or Thick as Thieves, which is kind of given from Outlaw to the old specs. A very popular pick. Now Rogues actually bring some into an arena when it comes to group gameplay. Why should you have all the bursts? Let your mage that's combusting do 15% more damage. I'm sure there will be nothing broken about it. Then also Dismantle is fantastic against melee. Finally, Rogues feel like they're just not a deer in the headlights without evasion when a warrior just goes in charging at them. Hemotoxin is a very popular choice for assassination. It's incredible, and just about every single Assass Rogue is running it, giving you even more healing suppression. And in fact, Outlaw buffs are actually proven to be quite good. A few rogues are picking it up, and it's a brand new spec in the PvP. It's actually seeing some gameplay here and there. It's not amazing and top of the tier off the bat, however, but time will tell how good it's going to be since it's basically a fresh new kid on the block. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Let me know your thoughts. Which specs and classes do you think I might have missed that are actually performing better with all the 9.1 changes that you think should have made in this video? Let me know your thoughts, what you think about the classes I picked for this video as well that are doing well in patch 9.1 PvP. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.